The injury list is long, right? Jamal Musiala now out 4 to 5 months at least, and then we know once you come back and you start playing again, it takes a little bit longer as well to kind of recover from that, get your feeling back in the game. But so he'll probably not be around until January, February. So after the winter pause in German football. Alphonso Davies, I understand he's now running. So, but that is still a long way. Anyone who had a major knee surgery knows that it's a big step from, running on a straight line to actually doing cutting and doing sprints and all that kind of stuff. So that's still going to take some time. And yeah, Bayern Munich are looking to strengthen. They had an abysmal window, to be honest with you. They really wanted Nico Williams, and that transfer ultimately ended with Williams signing a new contract with Athletic Bilbao. They really want Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart, but they haven't really quite gotten with the realities of the transfer window. Stuttgart basically pointed at Hugo Ekitike, who they're now getting Eintracht Frankfurt are getting 95 million euros for Hugo Ekitike from Liverpool. And Stuttgart said, well, they are only 6 months apart. Well, why are we going to settle for anything less here for a player that has exactly the same underlying stats? So if you guys want Nick Woltemade, basically the price tag is what Liverpool are paying for Hugo Ekitike. That is the going rate for a young forward that can play multiple positions, right?
Wow.
So that is, I know, wow. And the window is changing. It's really quite something. The prices that you're now seeing are dramatically different. Then they also went in for Jamie Gittens. He moved to Chelsea for 64 million euros. That's also a big price tag for someone who didn't even make the starting 11 at Dortmund anymore, right? So we're talking now players that are surplus material are still going for 60 million euros plus. Mm. And so the latest target is Luis Diaz. I think this one is going to work out. They are pretty optimistic in getting this done, essentially because Liverpool need to sell some guys because they've already spent 300 million euros, not US dollars, euros, this window. So they need to start selling some players and, free up some financial assets to actually facilitate all of this. And so I think Bayern are going to get this one done. I'm not too thrilled about this one. I said this yesterday on our Gegenpressing podcast. Bayern Munich will have 11 regular starters now that are over 28 years old. Right, in their squad, and that is a little old in a game that gets increasingly younger. So, but that's where we're at. Bayern are probably finally going to sign a left winger to sort of help with all the injury concerns, and I assume they will get more done, but it's been difficult for them.
Do you think this is like a shock to Bayern? Because I think Italian fans would say for sure that Premier League pricing has really affected the transfer market in and out in Italy for years now. Bayern always kind of, to me, sort of seemed like a bit immune from it. But from what you're saying now, it feels like they're just as affected.
Yeah, I mean, everyone will know that they were at the Club World Cup and made a lot of money there, right? Yeah. Everyone knows that they are only the second club in the history of the game to reach 1 billion euros in revenue, right? Mm-hmm. And unlike the other club, Real Madrid, they actually have money in the bank account, right? So why would you, if you're Stuttgart, say, hey, look, why are we going to give you one of our players? Especially because if he plays another good season, some Premier League team will pay what we're asking for.
Right.
And so the reality is it's just shifted. And I mean, I give you another good example. You now see clubs from Germany and England spend 20 million euros plus on second division players, sort of cutting out that middleman, right? So the market is gone to a place now where you need to sign someone like Woltemade or Ekitike before they become Woltemade or Ekitike. Woltemade was signed on a free transfer from Stuttgart last year. Frankfurt signed Ekitike for a 20 million euro deal from PSG because he was surplus there. That is sort of where the market is going. And then you have one or two or three of your players in your squad that you're willing to move on to one of those very top teams. We're talking the very elite here. But that's where the market is going. And so if you're Bayern Munich, you're either going to pay market prices or you try to cut out the middleman, like some clubs have been doing now, right? So it's a shifting reality, and I think German football is changing too. The rest of the teams have kind of caught up a little bit. There were 5 Bundesliga teams per Swiss Ramble that made the double-digit million euro profit last year. Mm-hmm. So they're in a different place that they all have money. So why would they be tempted by more money? right? And so it's just a bit of a shifting reality. And I think that is where the trouble for Bayern Munich has been. They need to do sort of what they did in the previous regime. They signed Alphonso Davies for less than 20 million euros, right? And see what he's worth now. And so that is sort of, I think, where they need to shift back. But I don't think that's quite sunk in yet.